Presidential heavyweight Rudy Giuliani versus Congressman Ron Paul. After Paul suggested that the U.S. After Paul suggested that the U.S. actually had a hand in the terrorist attacks. Paul suggested that the U.S. actually had a hand in the terrorist attacks.
It's an extraordinary statement. As someone who lived through the attack of September 11, that we invited the attack because we were attacking Iraq. I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I've heard some pretty absurd explanations for September 11.
I guess the bottom line question, though, is that a lot of viewers came away saying, here's Ron Paul, he's a Republican who wants to be president. He's blaming the United States, in effect, for 9/11.
Yeah.
I wonder if you want to revise that impression in any way.
No, they need to understand history. They need to understand that he's hiding behind patriotism, because what they're saying is I'm un-American because I'm challenging policy. I'm an American because I have a right and an obligation to challenge policy. If policy is detrimental and has blowback, then we should change it. But to say that we have to accept this policy without any question, I think is the wrong thing to do. And this is what they expect. And if you don't do it, they say, oh, you're blaming America. You're unpatriotic. And I think that's foolish. I think somebody that does not allow dissent and discussion and arguments about why this policy is good or bad. The American people, see, he wants to say, put words in my mouth and say that the American people caused this. I blame the American people. No, I blame bad policy, and bad policy can have consequences. Unintended, the CIA recognized it, the 9/11 Commission recognized it. So to me, this sounds very logical. I think he needs to back down. I think he needs to read the report and come back and apologize to me.
According to a recent Rasmussen report poll, 35% of Democrats think President Bush knew about the 9/11 attacks beforehand. The so-called 9/11 truth movement has already infected people like Rosie O'Donnell and 1 in 3 Democrats and many other Americans, evidently, including Congressman Ron Paul.
We're back with Republican presidential candidate Ron Paul, who is joining us tonight for a full hour. You don't leave any room for any doubt on a 9/11 conspiracy. Is there any evidence or is there any doubt in your mind that the United States government was not involved in the September 11th attacks, that we did not bring down World Trade Center number 7?
Yeah, I absolutely believe that is true. They did not. But the connection may be, and where some people get carried away, is if you dig through those $40 billion worth of intelligence gathering apparatus that we had before 9/11, you know, we dig up information, and there was some ineptness. And sometimes when you find ineptness in government, it's easy to make this giant leap over into conspiracy, and they do it on purpose. But, you know, we had an FBI agent, like on 70 different occasions, reported that these individuals were flying airplanes and not learning how to land them. And he was totally ignored. I consider this ineptness on government, not a conspiracy that, oh, yeah, we know about it. We can't wait till the towers come down. No, I don't believe that at all.
Ron Paul really has no business being on stage as a legitimate representative of Republicans, because the 9/11 truth virus is something that infects only a very small proportion of people that would identify themselves as conservative or Republican. And part of it is what Charles Krauthammer has famously called Bush derangement syndrome. I think that pathology has taken hold among many Democrats who would consider themselves mainstream. So anything that they could do to suspect or blame him for America's problems, I think a lot of it is just plain ignorance. And then there's a paranoid strain on the left. I talked about this in my book Unhinged, of tinfoil hat wearers who indulge in this kind of fantasy where America bears the blame for global jihad. Rosie O'Donnell and Alec Baldwin and Charlie Sheen, I believe. But it's there on the internet, and these people are absolutely rabid, and they are impervious to reason or logic. There are a lot of blogs as well that have been debunking a lot of these 9/11 conspiracy theories, but I think it's incumbent on mainstream news outlets to debunk these people, and I don't think you see nearly enough of that outside of Fox News.
Part of this 9/11 truth movement says that the United States attacked the Pentagon with missiles, that a plane did not hit it.
You know, I try not to spend too much time in these cesspools, but it is worth taking a visit to places like, you know, these WTC7 sites and Students and Scholars for Truth. And I note that Ron Paul has basically allied himself with these people. He appears with Students for Truth on campus. And he's appeared on radio shows like 9/11 Conspiracy Nut, Alex Jones. And I would hope that would disqualify him the next time around from appearing on stage with other Republicans.
We shall see.